even at our first cast read, I remember there was, like all of us, we have our names and, we have like a reference sheet. So my face was not even there. There was Brad Pitt staring back at me from Moneyball. And I was like, I get it, but what's going on? I've been brought up, with a set of values. Army kid, everything's done by the book, and you're, always conforming to certain ये करना है ऐसे करना है ऐसे नहीं कितने बजे उठना है ये होगा वो होगा. So maybe this is my way of expressing myself as a person. So I've always enjoyed a little bit of an edge or a risk with a path that I've taken up, where there'll be something which will internally scare me a bit. Oh my God, how will this be perceived? Will people enjoy this or not? Sometimes I don't want to keep posting and I feel like, oh my God, now my followers have dropped. Oh my God, the algorithm or whatever. We all know these lovely words.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to midday.com. I am here with the very talented and beautiful actress Nimrat Kaur, who's joining us to talk about her new film, Sajini Shinde Ki Viral video. In fact, it's actually not very new. The film released some time ago in theaters and now it's going to come on television. Hi, Nimrat. Welcome to Midday.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Goini. Thanks.
So, Sajini Shinde Ki Viral video, this film at least shook me to the core when I watched it. And it has had this theatrical run. It has come on OTT, and now it's going to be coming on television, which is a slightly wider and different audience, probably. Yes. What do you think about that?
For sure. I think it's wonderful, Goini, because there is a huge audience out there that isn't going to the theaters, isn't watching things on platforms. And I'm really happy that our films out there for everyone to see. And now we're leaving no stone unturned with that possibility, because this is the final leg of how far and wide a film can reach. So I'm really happy about it. It's a subject that is very close to my heart. It's something that really that resonates really deeply with me. It's something that is a part of our day-to-day lives. So I'm very thrilled and I'm really hoping that more and more people watch it.
What was the brief given to you for the character Bela Barot, and what kind of a cop did you want her to be?
So Mikhil Mosale, who's the writer-director of the movie, he was very clear that Bela Barot was very badass, but very sexy and understated, and not, somebody who was just cool and acting cool for the sake of it, So she just owns her space. She knows she's cool. She doesn't have anything to prove. She's out there, a girl in a man's world doing what she does best. She kind of lies low a bit. She's aware of, how she looks, but she kind of hides behind clothes and no makeup and hair tied up. And, she's just, because you're out on the field, in the field, and you're dealing with all kinds of people, where you don't want anything else to outshine your work, really. So she's a bit of an underdog. She's somebody who's a bit underappreciated, very hardworking, but doesn't make a big hala about it. She's very, very together. And there's a lot of herav in her. There's no impulsive, random behavior just because she has power or just because situationally she can do things or whatever, So, and this is honestly some of the best dialogue I've had to be able to say as an actor. So I have loved that. I have consumed that part of this character thoroughly and so excitedly. I really enjoyed that a lot. Such cool lines, it's the kind of lines that you had back in the 70s, where the hero would come in and say something and then it has an impact, and then there's like a repartee to that and stuff. And the vision that Mikhil Mosale had in mind was Brad Pitt from Moneyball. So I remember even, I haven't seen the movie, but even at our first cast read, I remember there was, like all of us, we have our names and, we have like a reference sheet. So my face was not even there. There was Brad Pitt staring back at me from Moneyball. And I was like, I get it, but what's going on? So I just had to be really badass and cool, which is a rare opportunity. And to get that as a girl, as a female actor, I'm very, very grateful to Maddock Films, to Dinu, for giving me this opportunity, and to Mikhil for writing such a kick-ass part.
while you are answering, there are like three questions that I thought of from different words that you mentioned. First, let me
Right.
talk about the dialogues, because while watching the film, I myself felt that many a times, I mean, I was like, oh, wow. Those kind of, expressions would come out while watching. And also the realization, like you said, it's so rare these days to have a film which has great dialogues, which is such a,
Yeah, it's
like
rare.
a,
Yeah,
yes,
it's a
yes.
real pleasure. Yeah.
And then you said something like, as a female actor, to have an opportunity like this, Nimrat, you have always pushed the envelope, always tried to be part of films that were not, run of the mill. Uh, Still, opportunities like this, and we keep talking about how content is king and OTT has brought in a lot of revolution, but you're still saying opportunities like these, and we are also obviously watching that
Yeah.
films like these are rare. I mean, the latest example, and after a long time that I couldn't think of a film in similar tones with great dialogues and everything, Lapata Ladies. So,
Yes.
yeah. So, but why? Why are these opportunities still so rare?
I feel like it takes a lot of time to create something really kick-ass and amazing. So not enough time is spent in writing because it all starts on the page, boy. Everything starts on the page. It's not a book. It's actually a book that is being brought to life by actors. There is so much that needs to be built on the written word. So for me, when I read something amazing, I know that a lot of time and love and labor of love has happened there. It's not just draft number 99C where one word has changed and not enough thought has gone into actually reworking things, making it fine tuned, reworking to lose the fat, trim the fat, as is said sometimes by editors and writers. That to me is why I feel like sometimes things work and sometimes things don't work. Or rather, some things are just more you immediately connect to a material because you know how much time has gone into it.
It was also very interesting how there are three strong women characters in the film, and there were two who are not so strong, who are more fragile and vulnerable. Probably Sajini is one of them, not as strong as we would probably like her to be. And of course, her mother, who finds her voice much later. But your character, then the student counselor, I'm forgetting her character's name, and
Shruti Vyas, her
yes,
character's name is Shraddha.
yes, and the principal, who's also strong in her own way. Obviously,
Yeah, of
probably her.
course.
Yes, yes.
Of course. Yeah.
But then, especially between you and Shruti, I mean Shraddha, the student counselor, both of you are strong feminists, but
Yeah.
very different times.
Yeah.
Like you tell her, why you playing the woman card everywhere, and she's like,
Yeah.
what if you're trying to find Sajni? You have the best interest at heart, but very
Correct.
different school of thought, probably. How did you play that out? What did you think about that?
Very interesting question and a wonderful observation there. See, they're actually representing different stratas of a society. They come from different economic backgrounds and privileges or the lack of it. Maybe they could have been friends in a different world, Shraddha and Bela, because they are really uh, fighting the same cause but with a different approach. And honestly, who can really judge what's right and wrong? Eventually, from Shraddha's point of view, Bela is just somebody with the perspective of sour grapes, perhaps that she can't have what Shraddha has and that life and whatever. And Bela is very judgmental about these people who at kitty parties over wine and coffee and cheese and all of that are deciding what they want to stand up for on social media. I mean, she's somebody who's she's the boots on the ground. She's getting her hands dirty. She's dealing with criminals and people of all kinds. So for her, quote unquote, like candle marches and things like that, those are just for the rich and the privileged, where no real change actually happens. So the point is, everybody's trying to do the same thing, but sometimes people, even within the same side of the fence, have a different perspective on each other. So which is why they come at loggerheads with each other many times, and it's a one-upmanship going on. So it is very interesting, where there are two voices many times in many scenes, and it's very enjoyable because you can kind of relate to both sides sometimes, because sometimes in a scene I'd be like, yeah, of course, Shraddha makes sense, यार वो जो बोल रही है वो सही तो बोल रही है, वो जहां से आती है वो यही सोचेगी ना, उसको मेरी जिंदगी के बारे में कुछ नहीं पता है, मुझे उसकी लाइफ के बारे में नहीं पता है, so it's like that. But I'm
Right.
sure they could be friends over a cup of coffee at some point.
But who do you relate to more? What kind of a feminist are you?
So see, I feel like feminism is a term again which is extremely misunderstood sometimes. Some people think it's aggression as a woman. Some people think it's a cause or like a social service movement. It's all kinds of strange, convoluted versions one hears as a girl. And I've observed this over a period of time that are you a feminist or not is also a question. I think I've lived my life as one. I don't need to be one.
Okay.
I am a woman who started off with absolutely nothing, have lived life on, with a certain set of values that I was brought up with. I don't want to be denied any opportunities because I'm a girl. And at the same time, I don't want to be given privileges because I'm a girl. So I do agree with Bela Barot there a lot. I feel like where she comes from is a very grounded and a very fair perspective. That just because I'm a girl, don't discriminate against me and I don't even want the advantages, of being a girl. So I think that's fair play. But at the same time, we know we live in a man's world. We know that, opportunities are fewer and far between. Women have to multitask a lot. I don't have a family to look after, but there are women with husbands and kids and grandparents and in-laws and all of that. They're doing all of that, and they are out at work, and the expectations are so high and whatnot. It's a tricky one. So I feel like I stand for equal opportunities and fair play, where life isn't made difficult just because you're a girl. If you can't make it easier, don't make it difficult for a girl anywhere.
Also, another topic, of course, the main thing which Sajini Shinde deals with, the social media perception, who's a good girl, who's a bad girl, and what you're allowed and what you're not allowed to do, and all of that. As an actress, I'm sure you faced more than enough of it. Every day putting yourself out there on the big screen, on social media. Do you have these thoughts that ye nahi karna chahiye, ya ye karna chahiye, ya these are the things that will perceive me in a certain way? Do you have those thoughts?
Not really, yeah, not really, because I have always enjoyed taking risks with my work. I really love that. Whether it was a Homeland or a Dasmi, where the character isn't all lovable and likable and cute and, funny only. And, like I like to play characters which are, in fact, a little bit on the edge,
Yes.
where the audience is left confused here. Do we like this person or not? Like, are we rooting for this person or what's happening? So that conflict for me is very exciting to create as an actor, and I think this is why I am one, because I've been brought up, with a set of values. Army kid, everything's done by the book, and you're always conforming to certain ये करना है, ऐसे करना है, ऐसे नहीं, इतने बजे उठना है, ये होगा, वो होगा. So maybe this is my way of expressing myself as a person, where I take up paths where they don't have to be in a comfort zone, because if a part is in a comfort zone, then I feel a little unexcited about it. So I've always enjoyed a little bit of an edge or a risk with a path that I've taken up, where there'll be something which will internally scare me a bit. Oh my God, how will this be perceived? Will people enjoy this or not? But then I know that I'm in a place where I'll enjoy creating it, you see.
Right.
So I really enjoy that part of life a lot, and I don't fear being judged, because I don't take judgments seriously. I don't think they should be taken seriously, and they're very short-lived judgments, because it's something that comes out so quickly. वो ज़्यादा देर टिकता नहीं है. It comes and goes. There'll be newer places and new people to judge in newer situations. So one shouldn't get affected by judgments. I need to know I had fun and I did my best at work.
Right. But do you feel pressurized to stay relevant through, say, social media or activities that people usually indulge in ki because dikhna hai? Do you
Yeah.
have that? Yeah.
Sometimes it's annoying. Sometimes I don't want to keep posting, and I feel like, oh my god, now my followers have dropped. Oh my god, the algorithm or whatever. We all know these lovely words. So some days I do put something out because I should, and because you're being told that those gentle reminders that come in that, hey, you haven't posted in a while. What's happening? People want to know. So sometimes I do it, but then there are times when I don't let it play on my mind. See, because now it's also become, a way of business coming in. You see, it
Right.
is lucrative. It is no longer just a way to stay relevant, as you say, or to stay in the, top of the mind recall with people. It's also become about brand endorsements. It's become about people coming to you and helping, brands sell their stuff or whatever that is, connect, stay, you're the bridge between brands and people, So it's a very interesting kind of a world. Sometimes I enjoy it, and then there are times when I'm not enjoying it, I'm off it. And that's also fine. So मैं ज़्यादा load नहीं लेती, मैं ज़्यादा pressure नहीं लेती इस चीज़ का.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.